Hello everyone, this is Hanuk here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to discuss more detail into the Docker volume. Okay, last time I have shown you how the Docker volume, what is importance of Docker volume while we are creating Docker container. Today I have created one more application that is called the bookshelf. We have the interface there. We can add books into the database and we can remove the books and we can do all the operations. And I'm going to showcase two things. One with respect to the Docker volume percent, and second one, if we don't have the Docker volume, what is the effect? Maybe vice versa. Okay, so let's go into the code base and let's see what's there. This is my VS Code. And this is the basic application. This is just an index.html and JavaScript file to support this application. Let's go ahead with the Docker file. That is our main concern is. In the Docker file, we have this node that is 20 alpha image. That is a base image for to build this node application. And this is the working directory. And we are copying the package, all the packages to the working directory. Then we are going to run this npm install product -hyphen production to install all the packages. Then we are copying the files and exposing the port 3000, and we are running the command node server.js. Let's go. We have two Docker Compose file. If we are running this Docker Compose file, this is going to spin up the Docker container without any named volume. That means if you are deleting the Docker volume, so Docker container, it is going to remove the entire content from the ecosystem. Whereas if you're using this Docker Compose, it is having named volume as well as named network. This is going to preserve the data whatever we have written into the system. That is going to preserve the data even if you are deleting the container. Let's go ahead and start executing this application one by one and see what it is going to do. And I'm going to copy a few commands to execute this one. And start with without Docker volume, how it is going to behave. Let's go ahead and see what is there in the Docker container currently. As of now, there is no container. There are a few images are there. Let's remove all this. Or let it be there. Images should be there. And volume, there is one volume. We can delete this if possible. Yes. There's no container, no volume. Let's go ahead and execute this command. This is Docker Compose. We are mapping the file Docker Compose no volume.yaml file. I'm going to bring up in a detached mode. So now it is starting. If you see here, we just created two Docker container. One is for Postgres, another one is for the application. Another one is for the Docker application, WebUI app demo. Let's open this application WebUI. This is the application. See, currently there is 0 books. We have no volume ordered. It is connected to the application. Let's go ahead and add few notebooks. AWS AML macro. It is going to the AML. It is saved in the book repository. Let's add few more. Then I should DevOps Lucas. Let's go to the DevOps list. Okay. Now let's come to the GCP. That is A. This is, it can be my name. Then it's good to the AML stack. Okay. Now let's take some other books like ABC of Python. Let's maybe I can give you Russian. It's a technology book. We have added 4 books now. Now this is residing in the Docker ephemeral storage layer. So that is within the Docker itself. It doesn't have any volume mounted outside. Suppose if I'm going to bring down this container, let's see what is going to happen. Okay. Using the same command which we have used before, instead of up, I'm going to give the command down. It is going to bring down the Docker containers. It's stopping the container and it is removed. If you see, there is no Docker containers are available. Let's go ahead and restart this Docker container once again and see whether we can access the data or not. Now it is bringing back the container. It is waiting for this Postgres to bring up. Yeah, now it is up and running. Let's open this one. See, earlier we have added few notebooks here, but currently there is no books are available because running without volume. That means if you are bringing the container down, it is going to remove all the entire, wipe out the entire data because the data is residing in the ephemeral layer of the Docker container itself. Okay, then we can go ahead with the next one. I'm going to bring down this application. Okay, now we can bring up. Now I'm going to create a named volume for the next practice. For this, we can use this command. I'm going to create a named volume for bookshelf Postgres data. It will create a volume. Let's see whether this volume has been created or not. See, this is created. Let's remove all these unwanted volumes and then we'll create once again. Now we can see this bookshelf Postgres data volume has been created. Now, if you want to see the metadata about that particular volume, we can execute the inspect command, docker volume inspect. Instead of create, we can execute inspect. It will give all the details about this particular volume, when it is created, what is the driver, whether it is local or hosted on any other cloud platform, labels and mount point, where is the mount point, and what is the name of this Docker volume, options, scope, etc. Okay. Now let's go ahead and spin up the Docker container using Docker compose up. Let's go to the VBA and bring this up. Let's run it on a detached mode. Now it is created 3 containers. One is for the Postgres, another one is for the PG admin to handle the amount volume PG Postgres database, and this is the application. Let's go ahead and see. There you go. Okay. Now it is having some data which is already there from where it is coming. If you go ahead and see this init.sql file, it has been seeded with few of the books. That is, these are the books which is already seeded as an initial practice. Okay, 3 books has been given. Those books we can see in the VBA. Now let's go ahead and add few more books. AWS Bedrock, Marco, ML, it is added. GCP, Lattice AI, Lucas, let's get into technology. Azure DevOps, Roshan, Clouds, or DevOps. Okay, we have added 3 more books. We have total around 6 books are added. Now we are going to bring down this Docker container and we are going to remove them. Let's see. It is stopping and removing the container. There is no containers available. Whereas if you see the volume, we can see this bookshelf Postgres data named volume is still available. Let's bring them up. We'll go and spin them back. It is waiting for the container to bring up. It is waiting on the app to come up. Yeah. See, the application is up and running, and we can see all the books we have added earlier is available. We can add them, we can remove them from the database, or we can add new books into the database. As we have the persistent data volume available, it's going to remove the data when we are going to delete this container. Okay. Suppose this is all about the demo. Suppose if you want to remove a container completely and you want to wipe out all the data related to that particular container, then we can go ahead and execute another command that I'm going to show you before that. Let me see any other command is pending related to this. Now, only thing is, let's see one more command. Suppose if you want to see the list of all the container volumes available, you can execute docker volume hyphen plus, sorry, no hyphen, docker volume ls typo. Docker volume ls, and it is going to list all the available container. If you go ahead and see the container volumes, we have 3 volumes are available. Those 3 you can see here. Okay. Suppose if you want to remove all the container including their docker volumes, you can execute this command docker volume docker down. It is going to bring down the container, and if you're executing -v sorry -v, it is going to remove all the named volumes also. Let's run them side by side and see. Okay, now I'm going to execute this command and see what's going to happen. Sorry. Yeah. See, it is going to remove all the container along with its associated named volumes it just removed. Okay, this is all about the demo, and now we will go ahead and see its architecture and some Docker related networking concept and all. Now it won't be available because we have built down the services. It won't be accessible. Okay, now it's gone. Okay, let's see the architecture diagram of this application in detail. Okay, here we have used the Node.js, Express, PostgreSQL, and Docker Compose to spin up this application. We have 2 Docker Compose files, that is Docker Compose no volume YAML file and Docker Compose YAML file. Okay, and we have created the Docker volume before executing the Docker Compose YAML file, which is having association with the named volume. If you see this service topology, this is having the persistent data storage. The user command hit the browser at 3000 port. Internally, it will connect to the Docker network. There is a bookshelf app that is running on Node.js. It is connecting to the bookshelf Postgres database through 5432 port. We have pgadmin. Pgadmin also going to connect to this Postgres database using 5432 port. We are seeding the initial data using init.sql file to this application so that it can write the data into the PostgreSQL. We have the name to volume. This is called the bookshelf Postgres data, and this is the location of that data. This is residing in the host machine controlled by the Docker desktop. Let's see the scenario with both the cases. The first one is Docker Compose with no volume. That means the data is residing in the ephemeral writable layer of the container itself. That means whenever you're going to delete the container or stop the container, it is going to wipe out the entire data. Whereas we have this Docker Compose with Docker with a named volume. The data is residing in outside the container and it is persistent. Only if you delete the container manually, or you're deleting the container and volume manually, then only it is going to delete the entire data. Until and unless we wipe out the complete volume associated with that particular container, it is not going to delete. And I have shown you how we can delete the container and its associated volumes. Okay, this is the volume life cycle. The user will command execute the command docker compose up this is a detached mode. It is going to create the volume. If there is no volume existing, it is going to create the volume first, then it will spin up the containers. Then we can start the container. It is going to mount at this location. Okay. Now the user is going to add books through UA. It will come to this Postgres container and it is going to write into the persistent volume. And even if the user execute docker compose down, it will stop the container and it is not going to delete the external data. And when the user came back and compose, if you bring the docker container up and recreate the container, and they can access the data back from the persistent volume, all books are still present and we can do all the CRUD operations in that particular database. Suppose what will happen if there is no volume? He'll be executing this command to bring up the container without the named volume. Start the container and he can add the book through the user interface. The data will be written within the container in the ephemeral storage layer. And if he is bringing the container down, stop and remove the container and its writable layer within the container, and it is going to remove all the data because it is not connected to any of the persistent volume. Once we came back and bring the cluster back, bring the container back, no data will be available. This is all about our demonstration of the Docker volume and the importance of persistent volume. That's all about this video. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.